Hi, and welcome to Sacred Spaces. My name's Michaela Drieberg, and today we're at the Robert Cochrane Kindergarten in Hawthorn. We're joined by Professor Stuart Macintyre, who's the Chair of the Heritage Council of Victoria, who's going to tell us a little bit more about what makes this kindergarten a sacred space. Welcome, Stuart.
Thank you very much.
So tell us a little bit about the history of this kindergarten. Why is it so special?
Okay, this kindergarten was opened in 1950 and it was a big deal. The governor's wife was there. It replaced a kindergarten that operated in a nearby church hall that had been operating from 1911, very early in the free kindergarten movement. And it was made possible by a member of the church, which also adjoins the kindergarten, who was a city businessman and who was very active in the kindergarten movement. It's important, I think, because it is one of the first architect-designed nurseries and it exemplifies many of the characteristics of buildings immediately after the Second World War. Kindergartens had particular importance because of the baby boom. When servicemen returned and formed families, there was a sudden surge in the birth rate. But the building is also, I think, you can read it quite clearly when you look at it, is that this was a time of great hopes, but also of acute shortages. When it was conceived, food was still rationed in Australia. There was an acute shortage of bricks and mortar. So the architect was very much making do with materials that were available. So you've got here a sort of a simple truss roof, originally with cement sheeting for the roof. You've got use of timber, ship's timber outside. Things such as masonite and kainite are used inside, and they're used, I think, with remarkable skill. The design principles involve situating. There are two main rooms, and they're situated so you have a lot of glass windows looking out to the north for sun and light. Big airy spaces. This was a transformation of the kindergarten that it replaced, which was very much sort of traditional school design principles. And I think it's a terrific building for the way in which it demonstrates the new forms of design and purposes. And I have a particular attachment to it because I was a little bit too old to attend it, but my brother, or two of my brothers attended it, beginning in 1952. And I would sometimes pick up my brother with my mother, but also my family attended the nearby church, so we passed it every Sunday, and it became a very familiar place to me.
So it's quite poetic that here we are today talking about a kindergarten that your family has a history with, and that you, as the Chair of the Heritage Council of Victoria, are here to tell us about some of the heritage aspects of it as well, including the fact that it was included on the register in 2013, which my understanding is this is the only kindergarten that's on the register.
I think there are very few. I haven't checked to see if there are any others. Well, this would be regarded as the first post-war architect-designed kindergarten. There would be many others like it, and in a sense it's very influential in the way in which subsequent kindergartens would be designed. Those principles of simplicity, making use of materials available, opening up to space, simple construction in a very attractive manner.
Well, I'm dying to see the inside of the building, which is very much like any kindergarten that you might come across, but there's all these little hidden special elements about it as well. So can you take me on a tour?
Yeah, let's go and have a look.
So we're inside what looks like a typical kindergarten entrance now, but it's typical because Robert Cochrane Kindergarten started it all.
Well, the design principles certainly were novel. As you say, we're walking down what appears to be a fairly standard way in. We've got pegs for kids to put their bags and their coats. And this hall that we're walking down joins together the two principal play areas of the kindergarten, both of which are extraordinarily large and generous. And the design was that this area would have attached to it some office areas, an additional cloakroom, the toilet block, all of which could be used from either room. So I think it's a very, it's a sort of a starkly functional design, but a remarkably effective one.
Well, Stuart, we're in the koala room now. So what's so special about the koala room?
The koala room, and in 1952 it was called the nursery, or one of the two nurseries, and you can see immediately that it is covered with the paintings by kids and play areas, but you can also see, I think, the way in which it employs an open plan and the remarkable use of glass and light. This would have been an unusually large, airy, well-lit space when it was first opened. And although it was renovated, I think, very carefully in the 1980s, you do get a very strong feeling for how it was constructed and how it survives. Those roof trusses, for instance, there's no attempt to conceal them. They simply run across it. Simple finishings, but a remarkably effective area, I think, for kids to play.
So one thing we haven't discussed yet, Stuart, is the actual architect that was involved with this kindergarten. So who was the architect and what makes them so special?
Well, he was a man called Horace Tribe, who would become very influential in the design of subsequent kindergartens. This was his first, and you can regard it in some ways as a prototype, and he received considerable recognition for it.
We're in the blue room now, Stuart, and there's something special in here, an original fireplace.
An original fireplace, although the fireplace itself isn't evident, but you can see the bricked area there, which was where the original fireplace was. This nursery is the southern of the two, and it makes sense to site the fireplace here as the principal form of warming in winter in those days.
And not needed anymore, as where it looks totally different from how it did some 60 years ago now, but still very much holds the essence of when it was first built.
Yeah, with very little imagination, you can take yourself back to how it would have been when my brother was here.
So that leads me to an important question I wanted to ask you. I like to ask everyone that we chat with about our buildings, about what their sacred space is within here. So if you could choose one, and you've got a rich family history attached to the Robert Cochrane Kindergarten, what would it be?
Well, it's a sacred space for me, I suppose, in a double sense. First of all, because my closest brother was here and I would pick him up. I was 2 years older, and sometimes I was able to pick him up with my mother. But more fundamentally, because the initiative for establishing this nursery came from a church which adjoins it, and my grandfather was the minister at this church for a decade, and it's where my uncles and aunts grew up, and I attended as a child. So once a week I would walk my way from home to the church past this kindergarten, and it became a very familiar place.
And here you are again.
And here I am again. It's been a long while since I was back.
Thank you for taking the time to show us around the Robert Cochrane Kindergarten today. It's been fascinating to learn a little bit more about its history and to see how it's used as well.
Yeah, thank you very much, Michaela.
Well, we're inside now, and I'm going to ask some of the kids that actually come to the kinder about what they love about this sacred space. So first of all, we've got Mannix with us here. Hi, Mannix. What's your favourite thing about coming to this kindy?
The monkey bars.
You like the monkey bars?
Because it's so fun to swing on it when my hands are sticky, because so I can hang on the monkey bar for a long time.
Very cool. And this is your big brother, Jasper. Jasper, what's your favourite thing here?
The slide and the monkey bars and the swing, because they were all fun and I like because I could do tricks on the swing and the monkey bars, and I like sliding down the slide.
Hi, Camilla. What's your favourite thing about this kindy?
The monkey bars and the swings.
They're fun, aren't they? And what about you, Georgina? What do you like about the kindy?
Monkey bar.
Is that because you're a monkey? How about you, Oscar? What's your favourite thing about this kindy?
Are my friends?
Your friends? And do you like playing with your friends? My name's Michaela Drieberg. You've been watching Sacred Spaces, and we'll see you next time.